I need new music.
This is the JJO Discover New Music Podcast.
All right. Well, let's get to it today on Discover New Music. So excited to have him. Not just because he's a stand-up fella, but because he's got new music for us, something we're all excited to hear. Rise Against, Ricochet, album drops on the 15th. Tim McIlrath. Tim, how are you, buddy?
I'm great, man. I'm excited to get this new music out to people.
I bet you are. You guys are hard workers, and I know you stay busy, whether you're on the road or in the studio. And luckily for us, Ricochet coming out. And Tim, this is number 10, man. Double digits.
Double digits.
Not a lot of, or actually, I should say, a lot of bands get to 10, but not a lot of bands get to 10 albums with the same level of success that Rise Against has experienced. So, what does 10 mean to you?
10 is the first number I've paid attention to. The other ones I was kind of not paying that close attention to.
Yeah.
And this was the first one where I was like, oh wow. To the point you were saying, Rise Against has always been a slow and steady wins the race kind of band, you know? I feel like we're the member of the baseball team that we may not get a home run, but we're gonna get on base every single time.
Right.
And I feel like that's been our career, and I think that it's really served us real well. To be able to still be out here 10 records later, 25 years later, playing shows that are still as big as they were, and sometimes they're bigger, still meeting new fans. These are things that, I'll be honest, we did not expect, you know? I think that when we got this thing going and we found some success, we thought, this would be great if we could do this for another 10 or 15 years. That would be pretty cool. We would have a great story. And so to still be out here, everything feels like a bonus. Everything feels like, I can't believe that people are still checking us out. I think that speaks to the appetite people have for music like ours, for commentary like ours, for music that speaks about change and awareness. I think that dark times bring out bands like ours to the airwaves too. And so I think all of those things factor in, but really, we're just super stoked to just still be here making new music for new crops of fans all the time.
And I'm glad you brought up kind of the reach that you guys have in the sense of the commentary in the band, because some bands, I mean, they don't mind sharing some opinions here and there, or they'll maybe have a political song, and I'm not going to sit here and put labels on it, but for a punk band in a sense, and kind of fight the system and not shying away from that. Has there ever been a time where you're like, oh, maybe we should pull back a little bit, maybe change the verbiage of this, or let's maybe ease up here? Has there ever been a time where you guys have worried about that?
I think we've been all opinion all the time.
Yeah.
Sort of it's fused into what we do. You know what I mean? We could be the no opinion guys, but we need to start another band. Rise Against came into the world like this. This is how we were birthed into this music scene. We were birthed screaming and raging and talking about how we feel and fighting for a level playing field and speaking out for equality and speaking out against racism and homophobia. And that even goes back to the scene that we were born into, which was a 90s punk and hardcore scene that was always really 90s punk and hardcore is where I first heard the word sweatshop. It's sort of the first, heard about climate change and issues of environmental justice. So that was the kind of music fan I was. Politics were always fused into it, whether it was massive bands like Rage or smaller straight edge bands like Earth Crisis. You know what I mean? There was always music that was speaking to me. And so when someone gave me a microphone, when I came of age, this was already on the tip of my tongue. You know what I mean? And so we didn't expect to meet your radio station, you know what I mean? And your fans, and play overseas and, get out of our basement and our garage. It wasn't something that we weren't very careerist about it. You know what I mean? It just kind of happened to us. But we never checked our politics at the door. Yeah. Because we came from a scene where it was very accepted and maybe even normal to have music that was very political. So if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Well, and I think just 100% unapologetically rise against. I think that's so great because, and I'm not trying to knock anyone with this, but sometimes, and hey, you got a contract waved in front of you, you got some money there and all that, but we got to change this, or maybe let's not do that. So I think it's a testament and why we're at album number 10 in Ricochet with Rise Against. One other big thing, and I know you've talked about this, and it's kind of been a focal point, is you guys got a new production team on this one. You got Catherine Marks, Australian producer, who's worked with like Alanis Morissette, Boy Genius, the Manchester Orchestra, plus Alan Moulder on there, bringing in this new team with his background also very eclectic. Yeah. Talk about that dynamic. What was behind the idea of it? Was there a specific idea for the sound you wanted, and how that all came together?
I think like as you become a band like ours, 2 decades in, you make a lot of records, make a lot of songs, reach a lot of people, you tick a lot of boxes. And then when you settle down for like your 10th record, you think, well, what can we do we haven't done before? And you're sort of self-aware that we are kind of some old dogs. Trying to teach us new tricks is probably pretty tricky to do. And we thought, well, the one thing we can do to change is like really just change the personnel in the room. Like we I don't know what people want in a song. We don't try to craft hit songs, that kind of thing. If songs were successful, it was kind of by accident. But I thought, if nothing else in 2025, let's make a Rise Against record that very simply doesn't sound like every other Rise Against record. So no matter what the songs are, no matter people love them or hate them, you will at least get a record that when you hear it, you will say, oh, this is from Rise Against's like Ricochet era. You know, you won't, if it came up on a shuffle playlist or whatever, you won't confuse it with another album. You will know, you'll have a signature sound that says, oh, this is from that record that they worked with Catherine Marks and Alan Moulder. You know what I mean? And Catherine's brilliant in her own right. And she was somebody who was, I would say, largely unfamiliar with Rise Against. And that was kind of the goal. It was like, let's go with someone that brings no baggage to the table,
right, and
has no sort of preconception what we should sound like, and then also doesn't feel like she owes anything to anybody, you know? And then Alan Moulder is just a legend, you know, with Smashing Pumpkins, Nine Inch Nails, you know, The Killers, My Bloody Valentine, you know, and so him and Catherine are close, and so we were able to snag him and get him to mix our record, so that was cool too. So I think that was the success in this album, is that at the end of the day, we made something that doesn't sound like our last record, and I don't think sounds like really like any of our records.
And, you know, there's some bands out there that would have a identity crisis and a freak out going, oh, my God, I think that was such a cool answer, and I'm glad we got to break that down, and I love that little snippet in there. Oh, this was from the Ricochet era, and I think that speaks volumes for what you guys were going for, and obviously succeeded in by bringing in, you know, Catherine and Alan. Very cool. Again, Ricochet, it's out August 15th, the 10th album. I asked this question to everybody when they drop a new album, and I've kind of reworded it just to make it easier. Do you have a favorite track, or maybe a track that speaks to you more than the others on the record?
Well, that's a great question. I think that the song Ricochet is probably the biggest curveball on this record. Okay. It was something that was like outside of like the standard Rise Against kind of formula, you know, and I think that's exciting because going back to my old dogs, new tricks, it's exciting to like hear your band in a new and different way, you know, because the more you do this, the more you can let yourself become like kind of congealed into like, this is the form that we take when we assemble as Voltron, you know what I mean? And to break out of that, it's tricky. And so I was proud of our band to find these different muscles that we've never flexed before and say, wow, I didn't know we had these. Like, what can we do with these? And so in some ways it was like just the beginning, just like the tip of the iceberg. Like, I didn't know we had this engine in our vehicle this whole time. We should turn it on and see what happens.
I love it. Well, I don't know if that description doesn't get your blood pumping. Nothing will. The new album, Ricochet, from Rise Against, drops on the 15th. Before we get to my silly little rapid fire, I do like to do this, especially with someone who's been in it as long as you. My masterpiece theater, my James Lipton-esque question for you.
I like it already.
You go back and play this new record, Ricochet, for Tim in 2001, right after the release of Unraveling. What does Tim 2001 think of Ricochet?
Whoa. Oh my God. Tim 2001 thinks of Ricochet as, wow, you finally learned how to sing. And I think he thinks you're doing far more than just like blast beat punk rock songs. You guys are doing something that we didn't anticipate we'd end up doing. So, and then Tim 2001 is probably too cool for school. He's too good for. He's probably a little too snobby for the new Rise Against. I want to say,
I love
you know, yeah. But
what do you want, old
hopefully,
man?
exactly. Hopefully, he's evolved in the last, and hopefully, he will evolve in the next 20 years.
Oh my God, I love it. I've got awesome. That's the best answer I could have hoped for. Well, let's do rapid fire. Get you on your way. No wrong answers on this, Tim. You just go with your gut, and we'll learn a little bit more about you. Let's start simple. Sneakers or sandals?
Let's go sneakers.
Billy Ocean or Billy Idol?
Oh, Billy Idol, yeah.
Let's do another name one. David Bowie or David Lee Roth?
Ooh, I'm Bowie.
Choco Taco or Flintstone Push Pop?
Oh, Flintstone Push Pop.
Very nice.
Very nice.
I'll be honest. A lot of people go Choco Taco. I appreciate you going left to center. Split pea soup or a creamy tomato bisque?
Ooh, a creamy tomato bisque and like a grilled cheese is the perfect like winter meal right there.
Like a fancy grilled cheese, not like a cheap one, like something off of a overpriced food truck that's got it. I like it. Last one, and you're a fit guy, so I'm excited to hear what you're going to say for this. Would you rather take a Chuck Norris roundhouse kick at 100% power or a Mike Tyson punch at 50% power?
Holy crap.
It's a thinker.
50, I guess they're both gonna hurt, so I would like one to hurt. I would like one to hurt less, so I guess I'll take that 50% punch if I got to do it. Let's do it.
I mean, even at this age, Mike Tyson, he's shattered. I'm dead. I mean, I'm dead.
I know. I might not be coming back from that one,
right.
But
hell of a story.
Yeah, exactly.
Tim, thank you for humoring me. More importantly, thank you for talking new music. Rise Against, Ricochet, out the 15th, number 10. So excited for you guys, man.
Can't wait. Thanks to all our fans in the area. We really appreciate all the love. Can't wait to see you.
Listen, rate, share, subscribe. Discover new music now at WJJO.com, in the JJO app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Brock has a new interview every Thursday evening between 6 and 7. 94.1 JJO.